Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about job listing review for the RHIT or the RHIA. If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue. I'm a medical coder. I have been a medical coder for over 10 years. I really love sharing the things that I know with all of you. So I hope you'll take a second, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and at the end of this video helps you, I hope that you will share it. So let's get started. All right. But before I begin, one quick programming note. This is just a little bit of future talk. I will be taking a break from August the 9th through August the 15th. This does not mean that you will not get episodes from me. I am just going to preload a week's worth of episodes so that way you guys can still enjoy me, but I will not be at the premieres that night. I'm actually not even going to premiere it, but I will just have it up on a regular scheduled time. So it will be at 7:30 Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Same thing like always. Continue to send in your questions for Q&A Tuesday because I will get to those questions as I get back. Being unplugged just means that I am not going to be probably as responsive during that time. This is just me taking some downtime, guys. Everything's okay. But I will get back to you when the time does permit. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. So let's get into the episode. All right. A lot of people have been asking me, they're taking their degree programs, the RHIT or the RHIA. And the RHIT, if you don't know, is a Registered Health Information Technician. That is the associate's degree, and it's with the American Health Information Management Association. The RHIA is the bachelor's degree, and that is the Registered Health Information Administrator, also offered with the American Health Information Management Association. Now, both of these are the manager type positions outside of the credentials, which the highest one to be like most managerial would be the CCS, which is a certified coding specialist. Now this credential says that you can code both inpatient and outpatient, but with the degrees, you're looking to be the leader, okay? And with the RHIT, the associates, they do a lot of supervisory roles. They also do a lot of lead and data quality auditing type positions. They also do release of information and that kind of thing. They're always usually the heads of departments, okay? So that is what they do. They are the leaders of our industry. So what I'm going to be reading today is a couple of these listings because I want you guys to see what their position entails and what is going to be expected of them. And people are asking me if people are still like getting jobs during this time of the pandemic. Yes, they are. So continue to study and continue to get through your education as possible, because when it does come time to do your applying, it's still going on. There's not been a stop in that because they need coders. You know, we are dealing with a pandemic, and who better to help understand that wording in the documentation better than a coder? A lot of these statistics are coming from us. I mean, from what we code, that is how they're getting their statistics. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get into the first. The first listing, I'm only going to do two because there's so much to cover, okay? So let's get started. The first one is a remote coding manager. Now, I got these off of Indeed. This is not an ad for Indeed. This is just where I found them. I'm not going to leave the link because these videos live on in perpetuity, and I don't want to put something that's probably not going to be there forever down in the description box. So if you are interested, this is where I found the listings. So remote coding manager is considered a system support position and provides leadership, support, and direction for the director of HIM coding operations and the coding staff. Coding managers works collaboratively with the system's revenue cycle, the facility health information records services departments, patient access teams, patient financial services, shared services, case management, physicians, hospital leadership, and management. The coding manager is responsible for supporting compliance with hospital standards and directives, the American Health Information Management Association and the American Hospital Association coding rules and guidelines, and other regulatory requirements, including CMS, the Joint Commission, and HIPAA standards related to HIM operations. As a manager, this position ensures that coding operations are standardized, meet regulatory requirements, and support optimal department performance to support the hospital operations and revenue cycle initiatives. This position performs timely monitoring and analysis of HIM coding operations to ensure performance objectives are met to support quality and quantity. Quantity and quality. This position is expected to maintain effective professional relationships as appropriate to instruct, share ideas, and implement actions related to coding functions and improvements. This position monitors and reports KPIs, I don't know what that is, as determined by the system director of HIM. The major responsibilities: ensure records are coded accurately in regards to ICD-10-CM and PCS, official coding guidelines for coding and reporting, CPT and HCPCS guidelines and corporate requirements. Ensures coding staff maintains a high quality and productivity standard per benchmarks. Collaborate with CDI for physician education regarding coding and documentation requirements. Acts as a resource for the coding staff, as well as serves as the liaison in the organization to address coding related issues and questions. Now, I want to stop right here real quick. They're saying a lot of this is going to be a lot of interaction. This is the managerial side of the house. This is the supervisory side of the house. So if you are getting these degrees, know that this is very interactive. This is going to be very interactive. Even though this says it's a remote position, this is a very interactive position. You are going to be expected as an RHIT or an RHIA to be able to effectively communicate with everybody and providers and the coding staff. And part of this is that they're not saying is that you need to be a really good leader as far as knowing how to motivate your people and knowing what they need and understanding those needs and how to appropriately apply either encouragement or motivation to get them to do the things that you need them to do. Sometimes staff, especially coders, can get discouraged, especially after a really bad audit, and they can get down on themselves. And it's on those leaders to really kind of recognize that maybe a coder is struggling and maybe reach out. And it doesn't hurt for a leader to do that. And I've seen leaders, I have had experiences with very good leaders, very effective leaders. And I've had my experiences with very bad leaders. So speaking as somebody that is a coder and a worker bee and somebody that is on the ground, and I know it's very important that if you're a leader and you're watching this, or you're going to be a future leader and you're watching this, motivate your people and know how to motivate people. Understand that there's going to be times when they're going to need tough love and they're going to need to be shown how to do different things, because telling them and showing them is two different actions, right? And when you are showing your people what they need to know and how they can find those answers, that's teaching them to grow. And that is what I think a good and effective leader can do. So if you, like I said, if you're going to be a future leader, that's something to consider. Consider taking classes in how to motivate people and how to spot if somebody is struggling, as far as like with this coding thing. You know, you want to make sure that your staff always feels appreciated, but you want to make sure that they respect you as a leader and that when you say something, you follow through. You can't just go back and forth and be wishy-washy and it's one way and it's another way. If you make a mistake as a leader, you need to admit it. You need to be able to say, well, you know what? I made a mistake here. Sorry, guys. I see this now. Here's the thing. Listen to your people. That's another thing, too, because sometimes when people get into positions of leadership, sometimes the most ineffective leaders I've seen are the ones that do not listen to their staff. Now, as far as like listen to their staff on the important things, not the little picky things. Well, I don't like this person. I don't like this person. I don't like this. It's not about that. You're looking at the mission, okay? And if they know that your focus is on the mission, they're going to understand that all the petty stuff has got to be put to the side. And that is that walking the walk and talking the talk that you got to do, okay? So that is just my own little personal note. And let's continue. All right. Disseminates changes in coding rules, such as correct coding initiatives and the coding clinic. Monitors changes in the laws, regulations, and policies that impact clinical documentation, reimbursement, and coding to assure compliance. Act as a resource for the coding staff as well as serves as liaison to the organization to address coding-related issues and questions. I don't know if I read that or not. Produce clinical data and statistical reports for clinicians, researchers, financial and business planning, and clinical quality support services, which is used to measure the hospital's efficiency, quality assurance program, administrative planning, and for the reports for state and federal agencies and medical research. So you have to be able to anticipate the needs of the facility as well. If you're running reports to see if the coding is being done accurately, how many of a particular code is being reported, is this code being reported correctly, is it being reported incorrectly, then measures need to be taken to rectify those errors. And so that is something that they're saying that you need to do. You need to be able to anticipate issues. You need to be able to forecast what's going to happen. And you'll get to that point once you really get boots on the ground and you start really looking at everything. You'll be able to get better at forecasting and seeing what the trends are going to be and what is going to happen with your facility. Okay. So demonstrate the ability to utilize coding and abstracting systems and ensure that appropriate computer systems monitor reports such as ABS hold, unbilled, and other alike to maintain grasp on regional coding numbers. Sometimes it may take looking at other facilities as well and seeing what's going on with them. Okay, and so that you have to be able to be aware of as well. And counsel employees in performance improvement, conflict resolution, disciplinary action, and coordination of employees' schedules for adequate coverage. Okay, sometimes you have to be the bad guy and tell people that, you can't have this week off or that week off or whatever the case may be. But be fair with your people. Be fair in the sense that they have issues that come up too. Not everybody is lying. That is a thing that I have noticed with ineffective leaders, is that they always assume everybody is lying when they have like personal issues to come up. So that is something that you have to be able to take on a case-by-case basis. Really know and understand your people. And not that you need to ask a bunch of invasive questions, but getting sharper on your observation skills is really key. If you can get to know the people that are working under you and you can see them and you can sort of find out about them as far as like how their demeanor is and how are they on a consistent basis, that is going to help you in the long run, because that is going to help you to know how to handle a particular coder. It's not just about working with the providers. Providers is a whole other thing, but your staff is going to be able to do more for you if they feel appreciated. Okay, and being appreciated just by knowing that they can be trusted by you is also an effective tool, I think. So coding staff on coding expectations and meeting goals related to both quality and productivity. Promote morale. What am I saying? And I haven't even read the whole thing. Promote morale by effectively communicating goals, standards, and needs of the department and the organization. Foster an environment of teamwork and service excellence within the department. And provide leadership for process improvement and redesign to improve customer satisfaction, reduce costs, and or meet departmental and institutional goals and objectives. Work and communicate with all departments, coding professionals, and medical staff to improve documentation in the medical record. Facilitate cross-training opportunities for coders. This is huge. Being a good advocate for your people, for the coding staff, is going to go a long way. I had a supervisor, wonderful lady. She was extremely good at managing people. She had to manage 50 plus of us by herself, and she managed to do it all by herself. And I've been in a situation where a supervisor had less, not even a fraction of 50, and has a hard time with it. So that's the thing when it comes to supervisory roles, and knowing that maybe sometimes coders can get burnt out, or they don't know that they can ask for cross training as far as like, you know, if you decide to get bored, or if you decide to get bored, if you do get bored. This manager that I had before was very good about this. She always had us in a meeting, right? We had to be in a meeting when we would go. She wouldn't let us sit next to somebody that we knew. We always had to sit next to somebody new. And that was her thing every single time we had a meeting. And if you were sitting next to your friend, you better get up before she spots you. You know, aren't you two friends? Get up and meet somebody new. Make a new friend today. That would be her motto. But she always said at the beginning of her meetings, if you guys are getting burnt out on your clinic, you need to let me know. Let me know where you want to go, if you want to switch, if you want to cross-train with somebody else, because it's very important. Don't get lazy was what she would always say. Don't get lazy and get stuck in the same clinic. If you want to move and go to a different clinic, try another clinic, let me know so we can talk to the other coder, or maybe that clinic does need help and we can have you swing over there and do some cross-training. She goes, because there is no reason that this hospital should shut down because in the coding section, because you all can't swing code and learn different clinics. She said there's no reason for that. And I've always believed that. I've always believed her when she said that. And she said that one of the other things she used to say was, if you are trained to be a coder, there is no reason that you can't pick up a new clinic. There is no reason that within a few days that you're not going to be able to pick up a new clinic. You can pick up a new clinic. And she's right. She's absolutely right when it comes to that, because you are trained to be a medical coder, and we know the broad strokes. And like I've said in my previous videos, if you are doing your studying there for that particular specialty, there is no reason that you can't pick up a new clinic. So before you think, oh, I can't do that, I can't do that. Yes, you can. There is no reason that you can't. If you learn the broad strokes of coding, you can learn anything in medical coding. Anything, any specialty. Okay, so just saying. And moving on. Interview and access and hire new coding associates. Manages and monitor departmental budgets. They got to be good with numbers. Okay. Because when they're doing overtime for the coders, that's another thing too. Okay. I haven't seen overtime in so long. Anyway. Ensures compliance with the Office of the Inspector General, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and state and federal requirements steering committee, and plays a key role in denials management involving HIM-related issues. Position qualifications and educational skills: bachelor's degree, medical record science or medical record administration preferred, or equivalent hospital leadership experience is required. Like I said, still apply anyway, okay? If you have these degrees, go ahead and still apply anyway, because I guarantee you that time that you've had for externships is really going to help you as well, okay? Put that down as your experience. And like I said, understand the facility that you're going to try to apply for. Know everything about them, so that way when you go in for your interview or you do a Zoom interview, you'll be able to tell a little bit of background, because they'll say, what do you know about us? And then you can say, well, I know this hospital was founded in this time. You guys use this electronic health record, and you do this, and you've done that, and all of these things. Just learn a few things about the hospital, just enough to say that you know something about where you're applying. Because this says to that person, okay, they're invested, they know. versus somebody that says, well, I don't really know. I just saw the ad and I applied. Well, what kind of electronic health record do we use? I don't know. You can find out. And when you find out, look on YouTube and Google the tutorial video on that particular electronic health record. So at least that way you have some working knowledge of it, some base knowledge of it. Not necessarily working it, but at least some base knowledge. And you could put that in your cover letter too as well. Your cover letter is designed to help you get your foot in the door as far as saying what you want to say versus what is on your resume. Your resume can't be more than 2 pages. Okay, just trust me on this one. And only your most relevant experience to this position is going to need to apply on your resume. If you have a comprehensive work history, say your work history goes back 20 years, they don't need to know that you worked at Wendy's in 1998. Okay, they need to know that you were a manager at this place, or you were a supervisor at this place, or you have done instruction-led classes, or whatever the case may be. They need to know managerial type functions that you did, or anything related to medical coding that you've done. That's what needs to be on your resume. Okay, because they are going to do background checks. These background checks usually do go back 10 years. This is why I say put the most relevant things on your resume. Okay, keep it to 2 pages, no abbreviations. Your cover letter needs to say something about you. Not that you're hardworking. Everybody's hardworking. In a sea of 100 people, there's going to be every single one of them. I'm hardworking. I'm a team player. Everybody knows that. What makes you special? What makes you stand out? What are you going to bring to the table for this organization? Why do they need to hire you? And especially if you have no experience, why? What makes you so special? That's a question that you need to answer and think for yourself and put on your resume. On your cover letter, because that's what's going to be that first eye catcher. Because if your cover letter looks like everybody else's, it's going to go straight into the pile. Moving on. Must have extensive knowledge of health information management functions, including coding and compliance, ICD-10, PCS, CPT coding systems, MSDRGs, and APCs. Must possess a strong working knowledge of internal integrity requirements and procedures, knowledge of governmental, federal, state, and local regulations related to billing rules and compliance, knowledge of the healthcare industry, financial, statistical indicators, must possess strong analytical skills, excellent oral and written communication skills, must have strong knowledge of common office software applications, including PowerPoint, Excel, Word, etc. Those should be on that skill set. If you have it, should be on your resume as well. Okay. Experience, a minimum of 5 years experience in a medical record department of a mid to large inpatient facility, including 3 years of a coding management capacity. Experience with centralized staffing model preferred. Experience with remote workforce operations required. License registrations and certifications. RHIA is preferred. Registered Health Information Technician or Certified Coding Specialist. Okay, that's why I say that certified coding specialist is pretty big. It's a big deal. Okay, and I'm almost out of time, but I want to read this one because I like this one. It's provider educator / coder, and this is at least 2 years of experience in a hospital, inpatient or outpatient or medical office coding experience, preferably 2 years of risk adjustment coding experience. I am going to do a video about risk adjustment, so stay tuned for that one. Coding certification, which may include certified professional coder, certified risk adjustment coder, certified coding specialist, physician-based. I don't know why they keep saying for providers. Or professional. That's not even right. The CCSP is certified coding specialist, physician-based. Certified coding specialist for hospitals, registered health information technician, or registered health information administrator is required. Extensive knowledge and adherence to ICD-10, outpatient, and CPT coding guidelines. Excellent understanding of medical terminology, disease process, and anatomy and physiology. excuse me, working knowledge of CPT evaluation and management guidelines, working knowledge of CMS, risk adjustment, and HCC coding processes, strong computer skills, prior audit and quality experience, prior experiences teaching, training others on correct coding guidelines, and or having the ability to present to large groups of physicians or providers. This position is a full-time remote coder. Develop relationships with clinical staff and providers, and communicate coding and documentation, conduct provider training on health plan coding initiatives, guidelines, and requirements of the risk adjustment program to ensure correct coding and documentation, customize presentations to educate providers and staff, understands, develops, tracks, monitors, and reports key programming performance metrics for coding initiatives. And then it goes on to say a lot more, but I'm almost out of time, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up because I don't want this thing to cut me off. But just know that if you have these degrees programs, one of these degrees, RHIT or RHIA, it is very interactive. This is a very good opportunity to be a good leader and do a lot for the people that are under you. And even if you don't quite understand all the things about coding, because the RHIAs are generally not really required to do coding. I mean, they need to have some knowledge of it, yes, because they are, the ones that are going to be answering questions, but they aren't going to be doing the coding all the time. They're going to be manning the ship. They're the captain of the ship. So that is their function mostly. But to be a good, strong leader and to develop your workforce under you, to encourage them and teach them to grow is really huge. And it is part of what it does say in the job listing. But that is something that I think sometimes gets dismissed among leaders. And I just want to put this out there. So if you're a future leader, look at the CCAs of the world, look at the CPCs of the world, look at all of these other credentials, and consider the power of these coders, and consider what they had to go through in order to get these credentials. Okay, so that is something to be aware of, something to think about, and always encourage your people, because the best worker is the encouraged and motivated worker. All right, I'm going to wrap this one up. So if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider, or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all next time. Bye.